When we think of King Charles III, we often see the monarch in the grand tapestry of historic-tailored suits, the environmental crusades, and the heavy weight of a 1,000-year-old crown. But if you look closer, past the palace guards and the polished silver, you find a man deeply rooted in the soil. Charles has always been a man of the land, someone who finds more joy in a damp garden or a wild mushroom forest than in a stuffy ballroom. For the king, food isn't just a meal, it's a connection to the earth and a bridge to the 56 nations of the Commonwealth. Picture the quiet focus in his eyes as he discusses organic farming, or the genuine delight when he tastes a recipe that honors local tradition. Since taking the throne, his table has become a reflection of his soul-disciplined, sustainable, and surprisingly simple. While his mother, the late Queen, found comfort in the quiet rituals of British tea, Charles uses the dining table to celebrate a modern, global family. There is one particular dish, born from his coronation but now a symbol of his reign's receptions, that perfectly captures this balance of royal duty and humble ingredients. Let's explore the dishes King Charles III truly loves, starting with the one he orders for the world. Dish number 1, the Coronation Quiche. For decades, the world associated royal celebrations with Coronation Chicken, a creamy, curry-flavored dish from 1953. But when King Charles III took the throne, he wanted something that spoke to the present, not the past. He personally chose the Coronation Quiche to be the centerpiece of his Commonwealth Day receptions and celebratory lunches. It is a deep-dish savory tart featuring a light, crumbly pastry filled with a rich custard of eggs and cream. But the real stars are the vibrant green vegetables: spinach, broad beans, and fresh tarragon. This choice was no accident. For a king who has spent over 50 years warning the world about climate change and the importance of organic farming, this dish is a culinary manifesto. By choosing a vegetarian option, Charles signaled his commitment to sustainability and a lower carbon footprint. It is a dish designed for the big lunch meat, to be eaten cold or hot, sliced easily, and shared among neighbors in a communal setting. It reflects his vision of the Commonwealth, a diverse group of nations joined together by shared values and simple, sustainable living. When guests at a Commonwealth reception take a bite of this quiche, they aren't just tasting a royal recipe, they are participating in the king's philosophy of harmony with nature. It is a humble, earthy dish that bridges the gap between the high altar of Westminster Abbey and the picnic blankets of a local park. Can a simple vegetarian quiche ever truly replace the iconic status of meat-based royal traditions, or is it too boring for a king? Dish number 2, cheesy baked eggs. If there is one dish that defines King Charles' personal morning ritual, it is the hearty and rustic cheesy baked eggs. While the world might expect a monarch to dine on exotic fruits or imported delicacies, Charles prefers the humble output of his own organic hens. This dish is a warm, bubbling ramekin of comfort, featuring 2 perfectly cracked eggs nestled in a bed of wilted spinach, sun-dried tomatoes, and a generous topping of strong British cheeses like Gruyere or cheddar. It is often finished with a pour of heavy double cream and a crack of black pepper. For the king, this meal represents the discipline of the farmer high-protein start that allows him to skip lunch entirely to focus on his grueling schedule of state papers and public appearances. It is a meal that bridges the gap between a royal palace and a country cottage, highlighting his lifelong passion for local produce and sustainable agriculture. As you imagine the steam rising from the golden melted cheese, it makes you wonder, how do you like your eggs cooked in the morning to get through a long day? However, this dish also sparks a debate among traditionalists. Is it right for a king to ignore the classic full English breakfast in favor of a posh baked egg dish, or is he simply leading the way in modern healthy eating? Dish number 3, wild mushroom risotto. King Charles has long been known as a shadow of the woods, a passionate forager who finds genuine peace wandering the damp, mossy grounds of the Balmoral estate. His wild mushroom risotto is the culinary result of this lifelong hobby, often prepared with porcini or chanterelles he has gathered with his own hands. This dish is a creamy, earthy masterpiece, slow-cooked with arborio rice, organic vegetable stock, and a splash of dry white wine, finished with a mountain of freshly grated Parmesan and herbs from the Highgrove gardens. It is a meal that reflects his soul complex, deeply connected to the soil, and entirely organic. For Charles, this risotto isn't just dinner, it's a celebration of the land's natural bounty and a rejection of mass-produced industrial food. It showcases his belief that the finest luxury doesn't come from a gold-wrapped box, but from the forest floor. As the rich, woody aroma of the mushrooms fills the room, it asks a simple question. Would you ever have the courage to go into the woods and pick your own dinner from the wild? Yet, this earthy preference often raises eyebrows in royal circles. Should a reigning monarch be spending his private hours foraging in the dirt like a commoner? Or does this peasant-style dish prove he is truly the most grounded king in history? Dish number 4. Mutton burger. King Charles has a deep traditionalist affection for mutton burger, a dish that many modern palates have long forgotten. Unlike the more popular, tender lamb, mutton comes from older sheep and requires a slow, patient cooking process to coax out its rich, gamey depth. For the king, this dish often braised with root vegetables and hearty herbs, a symbol of agricultural heritage and thrift. He has famously campaigned to bring mutton back to British dinner tables to support struggling sheep farmers. It is a robust, no-nonsense meal that mirrors his own steadfast nature and his refusal to let old British traditions die out in the face of modern fast food trends. This dish represents a bridge between the palace and the rugged highlands, but it also invites us to look at our own shopping habits. Do you ever choose older, traditional cuts of meat at the butcher, or do you always stick to the most popular trends? While Charles sees this as a masterclass in sustainability and supporting local farmers, it remains one of his most debated tastes. Is the king's obsession with mutton a noble effort to save a dying industry, or is he simply trying to force an outdated, tough, and unfashionable meat onto a public that has moved on? Dish number 5. Plum crumble from Highgrove. When it comes to dessert, the king often turns to the orchards of his beloved Highgrove house, specifically for his favorite plum crumble. This isn't a delicate, airy pastry found in a Parisian patisserie, but a rustic, bubbling dish of tart, purple plums topped with a crunchy, golden layer of oats, flour, and butter. Charles is known to be particularly fond of the fruit grown on his own estate, often insisting that the plums be picked at the very peak of their ripeness to ensure a perfect balance of sweetness and acidity. It is a dessert that feels like a warm embrace on a rainy English afternoon, served simply with a dollop of organic cream. This dish is the ultimate expression of his garden-to-table philosophy, emphasizing that the most satisfying sweets are those grown with care in your own backyard. As you imagine the warm juices of the plums soaking into the buttery crumble, it makes you wonder, what is your favorite fruit to bake into a warm, homemade dessert during the colder months? However, his insistence on seasonal simplicity often clashes with the expectations of royal grandeur. Is a basic fruit crumble too ordinary for a king's private dinner? Or does his love for this simple British classic prove he is more relatable than we think? Dish number 6. Game bird terrine in the rugged mist-covered hills of Balmoral. King Charles finds his greatest culinary inspiration through the traditional sport of the Scottish Highlands. The game bird terrine is a dish that appears frequently at his table, crafted from a mixture of pheasant, partridge, or grouse, often layered with rich herbs and wrapped in delicate fat to preserve its moisture. For Charles, this dish is the ultimate tribute to the feel-to-fork lifestyle he has championed for decades. It is a dense, flavorful, and sophisticated appetizer that honors the wild spirit of the British countryside, requiring a high level of skill from the palace chefs to balance the bold, gamey notes of the meat. This terrine is more than just a starter. It is a celebration of the wilderness and the careful management of royal estates. As you visualize the intricate layers of this rustic delicacy being served on fine china, it prompts a curious thought. Have you ever tried game meat like pheasant, or do you find the taste a bit too bold for your palate? Yet, this preference for hunted game is not without its critics. Is serving wild game bird a beautiful preservation of ancient British heritage, or is it an elitist tradition that feels out of touch with a modern, more animal-conscious world? Dish number 7. Organic salmon with garden greens at the heart of King Charles' evening menu is a profound respect for the cold, clear waters of the Scottish Highlands. His preferred choice of organic salmon, lightly seared and served on a bed of wilted garden greens, is the epitome of his disciplined approach to health. Unlike the heavy, sauce-laden fish dishes of past monarchs, Charles insists on simplicity, allowing the natural oils and the delicate flakes of the salmon to speak for themselves. This dish is almost always accompanied by vegetables harvested that very morning from the palace gardens, ensuring every bite is a testament to freshness and vitality. For the king, this meal is a quiet statement on the importance of protecting our oceans and supporting sustainable fishing practices. It is light, lean, and purposeful, fueling his mind for late-night briefings. As you imagine the vibrant pink salmon paired with crisp emerald-colored spinach, it invites the question, do you prefer your fish cooked simply with lemon and herbs, or do you need a rich sauce to enjoy it? However, his strict adherence to such a clean diet often sparks conversation. Is the king's disciplined, starch-free dinner a masterclass in modern health, or is a meal without potatoes or bread simply not a real dinner for most people? Dish number 8. Traditional Irish stew. Despite his title, King Charles has a long-standing appreciation for the rustic, warming flavors of a traditional Irish stew. This dish is a hearty celebration of the basics. Tender chunks of mutton or lamb, thick slices of potatoes, onions, and carrots, all simmered together until they form a rich, velvety broth. For a man who often spends his days in the damp, chilly climates of the British Isles, this stew provides a level of warmth and soul-satisfying comfort that no formal banquet could ever match. It is a one-pot wonder that highlights his love for peasant food dishes that are honest, filling, and unpretentious. This stew represents a sense of unity and shared history across the islands, reminding us that even those who live in palaces seek the same warmth as those in a country cottage. The sight of a steaming bowl of stew on a winter night makes one wonder, what is your go-to comfort food when the weather outside turns cold and grey? Yet, the inclusion of potatoes in this specific dish one of the few times he indulges in starches leads to a controversial thought. Is this a genuine embrace of common culture, or is it a calculated guilty pleasure that contradicts his usual strict, starch-free dietary rules? Dish number 9. Handmade pesto pasta. While King Charles is famously disciplined about avoiding starches like pasta during the week, he is known to make a rare and delighted exception for handmade pesto pasta. This isn't the store-bought variety found in a jar. It is a vibrant, aromatic dish made with handfuls of fresh basil, toasted pine nuts, and sharp parmesan, all pounded together with the finest organic olive oil. For the king, the secret ingredient is always the basil grown in the sun-drenched greenhouses of Highgrove. When he does indulge, it is a celebration of Mediterranean flavor brought to the British countryside, representing a moment of Mediterranean warmth in his otherwise structured royal diet. This dish reflects his appreciation for culinary craftsmanship and the slow food movement, where every ingredient is handled with care and respect. As you imagine the bright, herbaceous aroma of fresh pesto clinging to perfectly al dente pasta, it forces a simple choice. Do you prefer the classic green basil pesto, or have you ever experimented with red sun-dried tomato versions? However, this rare indulgence often stirs a bit of royal chatter. Is a king's rare plate of pasta a relatable cheap meal that proves he's human? Or does his strict rule of only eating it on special occasions make him seem more disconnected from the daily eating habits of his subjects? Dish number 10. The classic martini. To conclude the king's list, we look not at a plate, but at a glass specifically, his legendary evening classic martini. This isn't just a drink for King Charles. It is a precision-engineered ritual that he reportedly enjoys almost every night before dinner. Unlike the more common versions, the king is said to prefer his martini made with equal parts gin and vermouth, served bone cold in a specific glass. It represents the quiet hour in the royal household, a moment of sharp, botanical clarity, where he can finally set aside the red boxes of state papers and transition into his private evening. It is a sophisticated, timeless choice that mirrors his own appreciation for heritage and refined craftsmanship. This ritual highlights a man who values consistency and the small, personal traditions that keep him grounded amidst the chaos of a monarchy. As you picture the frost on the glass and the twist of lemon peel, it brings to mind a question. Do you have a favorite evening ritual or drink that helps you switch off from a long day of work? However, this daily habit often sparks a lively debate. Is the king's nightly martini a charming, old-school tradition of a British gentleman, or is it an outdated royal luxury that stands in stark contrast to his modern image as a health-conscious, organic-loving leader? As we close the kitchen doors on our journey through King Charles III's favorite flavors, we see a man who is much more than a figurehead in a crown. From the sustainable greens of his Coronation Quiche to the quiet, sharp ritual of his nightly martini, his diet is a map of his deepest values: discipline, a love for the earth, and a fierce protection of British heritage. He is a king who isn't afraid to get his hands dirty in the garden or skip a royal lunch to stay focused on his duty. His table serves as a bridge, connecting the ancient traditions of the monarchy with the urgent modern need for a more sustainable world. It reminds us that even the most powerful people find their truest comfort in the simplest ingredients. As you think back on his love for organic eggs and foraged mushrooms, it leaves us with one final thought. If you were king for a day, would you keep the royal chefs busy with extravagant feasts, or would you find peace in a simple homegrown meal? But before you go, we have to ask the big question. Is Charles the most relatable monarch we've ever seen because of his humble tastes, or does his strict organic lifestyle make him more distant than ever? If you enjoyed this royal deep dive, give this video a like and subscribe for more stories behind the palace walls. See you next time.